Here's a terrifying thought. You're statistically more likely to die in a natural disaster while on vacation than in your own hometown. That $2,000 beach getaway? You just paid to put yourself in more danger than staying home and binge-watching Netflix. So why are 1.4 billion tourists every year basically walking into disaster zones completely blind? Because the $1.5 trillion travel industry has been keeping you in the dark about something crucial that could literally save your life. Let's start with why you're basically a sitting duck the moment you step off that plane. Picture this. You're exploring Tokyo when a 7.0 earthquake hits. The locals around you immediately drop, cover, and hold. You're probably taking a selfie, wondering why everyone's acting weird. That's not stupidity, that's tourist vulnerability, and it's built into your DNA. When disaster strikes, you're operating with three massive disadvantages that locals don't have. First, you're geographically clueless. You don't know which way is north, where the high ground is, or that the pretty beach you're on becomes a death trap during tsunami season. It's like trying to escape a burning building you've never been in, blindfolded. Second, you can't read the warning signs, literally. That emergency alert blasting on every phone around you, it's in Japanese. Those evacuation route signs, Greek to you. Even the panic on people's faces gets lost in translation. Third, you're psychologically unprepared. Your brain is in vacation mode, relaxed, carefree, maybe slightly buzzed from that piña colada. When crisis hits, you're mentally switching from beach vibes to survival mode, while locals are already 3 steps ahead. This isn't just bad luck, it's a systemic failure. In the last decade alone, over 7,000 major natural disasters have affected nearly 2 billion people worldwide. And tourists? We're not just caught in the crossfire, we're among the most vulnerable groups in any disaster zone. But here's where it gets interesting. Some destinations figured this out and decided to do something about it. What they discovered will blow your mind. The travel industry learned this lesson the hard way, to the tune of $1.3 trillion in losses. 2020 wasn't just about COVID. It was a preview of what happens when the tourism industry gets caught with its pants down. Hotels empty, airlines grounded. Entire economies built on tourism, gone overnight. But smart destinations had already started preparing for this reality. They developed something called disaster risk reduction. Think of it as a playbook for when vacations turn into survival scenarios. Here's how it works, broken down into 5 phases that could save your life. Risk assessment. Before you even book that trip, they're mapping out every possible way Mother Nature could ruin your day. Hurricanes in the Caribbean? Mapped. Earthquakes in California? Calculated. Tsunamis in Thailand? Modeled down to the minute. Preparedness. This is where hotels become temporary command centers. Staff get trained like first responders, emergency kits get stocked, evacuation routes get practiced until they're muscle memory. Mitigation. They're literally building tourism that can take a punch. Hotels that can withstand Category 5 hurricanes. Resorts that double as emergency shelters. Even preserving mangrove forests that act as natural tsunami barriers. Response. When disaster strikes, this is the choreographed dance of getting everyone to safety. No chaos, no confusion, just coordinated action. Recovery. This is the comeback story. How destinations rebuild better, stronger, and more prepared than before. The destinations that master this framework don't just survive disasters, they thrive afterward. The ones that don't, they become cautionary tales that lose tourists forever. Remember when weather forecasts were about as accurate as a coin flip? Those days are over. Today's early warning systems are like having a crystal ball, but one that actually works. We're talking AI that can predict disasters with scary accuracy, isioi, floods, wildfires, even earthquakes, and blast life-saving alerts directly to your phone faster than you can say, "Vacation ruined." Think about it like this. You know how Netflix knows what you want to watch before you do? Now imagine that same AI, but instead of predicting your next binge watch, it's predicting when a Category 4 hurricane is going to flatten your resort. And instead of recommending shows, it's recommending evacuation routes. Here's what's already happening. AI systems are monitoring everything. Satellite imagery, weather patterns, seismic activity, even social media posts. When something's about to go wrong, they don't just sound an alarm. They create a personalized escape plan sent directly to your phone. Hotels are using contact tracing technology, thanks COVID, to know exactly where every guest is during an emergency. No more wondering if everyone made it out. Apps like Facebook's Safety Check and FEMA's emergency alerts are turning your social network into a survival network. One tap tells everyone you're safe, or that you need help. A 24-hour warning can reduce disaster damage by 30%. That's not just property damage, that's lives saved, families reunited, and vacations that end with great stories instead of tragedy. But here's the dark side nobody talks about. All this fancy tech comes with a price. Massive data collection means your every move is tracked. AI can be biased, leading to unfair resource allocation. Imagine the algorithm deciding who gets rescued first based on their booking history. And here's the scariest part. We might become so dependent on AI that we stop thinking for ourselves. What happens when the system fails and you're back to square one? A tourist in a disaster zone with no clue what to do. That's why the real heroes of disaster management aren't machines. They're the people building partnerships before disaster strikes. And what they're accomplishing will restore your faith in humanity. Technology is impressive, but it's the human partnerships that actually save lives. Since 2010, the UN World Tourism Organization has been pushing for something revolutionary, making tourism part of the emergency response plan, not an afterthought. It's like finally inviting the tourists to the safety briefing instead of leaving them to figure it out on their own. Here's what's working. Hotel staff are getting trained as first responders. That friendly concierge who helped you find the best restaurant? They're also trained to help you find the nearest evacuation route. Your first line of defense isn't waiting for official emergency services. It's the people who already know you're there. Local communities are becoming part of the solution. Take Marriott's partnership with a community in Thailand. They're protecting mangroves that serve as natural tsunami barriers while creating local jobs through beekeeping. Smart tourism that builds resilience and livelihoods together. Public-private partnerships are changing the game. Instead of governments and businesses pointing fingers after disasters, they're working together before disasters strike. Shared resources, coordinated response plans, and everyone bringing their best tools to the table. This isn't just about surviving disasters, it's about fundamentally changing how tourism works. Building destinations that are stronger, more sustainable, and truly designed to build back better. But even with all these advances, we're still facing some brutal realities. The challenges ahead are complex, and some of them will make you question everything about how we travel. Despite all this progress, the problems we're facing are getting more complex, not easier. You're still the weakest link in the chain. Sorry, but it's true. Language barriers aren't just inconvenient, they're potentially deadly. When seconds count, not understanding evacuation instructions can be the difference between life and death. Your psychology works against you. Panic makes you stupid. Curiosity makes you dangerous. That tourist instinct to pull out your phone and record everything, it can get you killed. And let's be honest, hauling a suitcase, 3 kids, and a hangover through an emergency evacuation isn't exactly optimal survival strategy. The money side is brutal. Disasters don't just cancel vacations, they destroy entire tourism economies. Hotels, restaurants, tour operators, and thousands of jobs disappear overnight. Some destinations never recover their reputation. Try coordinating disaster response across different countries with different laws, languages, and systems. It's like trying to choreograph a dance where half the performers don't speak the same language, and the other half are using completely different music. Here's where it gets really dark. Who gets the last seat on the evacuation helicopter? The tourist who paid $5,000 for their vacation? Or the local resident who's lived there their entire life? Resource allocation during disasters raises brutal questions about fairness, survival, and human dignity. Even AI brings ethical dilemmas. Whose data privacy matters when lives are on the line? But before you cancel your next vacation, let me show you why preparation actually works. The success stories will surprise you. Despite all these challenges, some places have figured it out. The results are incredible. In 2013, India faced a Category 5 hurricane equivalent, Tropical Cyclone Phylon. Based on history, they should have lost 10,000 lives. Instead, only around 44 people died. How? They evacuated over 1 million people with their zero casualty policy. Japan's 2011 tsunami was devastating, killing nearly 20,000 people. But here's the remarkable part. In communities where people had practiced evacuation drills and knew to immediately head to higher ground, survival rates were dramatically higher. The seawalls and buildings failed, but preparation and quick action saved thousands more lives. Thailand got slammed by the 2004 tsunami, but they didn't just rebuild, they rebuilt smarter. Better infrastructure, retrained staff, improved early warning systems, and strategic marketing brought tourists back stronger than before. Nepal's tourism faced major setbacks after the 2015 earthquake, but showed remarkable resilience in its gradual recovery. The country's tourism model, built around adventure and cultural experiences, proved adaptable enough to bounce back over time. These aren't feel-good stories. They're proof that investing in preparedness directly saves lives and helps economies recover faster. It's not just theory, it's a life-saving investment with measurable returns. So, what does this all mean for your next vacation? The world of tourism disaster management is getting smarter, but it's not foolproof. Your vulnerability as a tourist is real, and the challenges are complex. But here's the game-changing truth. Preparedness is the ultimate superpower. Countries like India and Japan proved that proactive measures save lives. Thailand and Nepal showed that destinations can transform crisis into opportunity. Don't just pack your bags, pack your knowledge. Before you travel, research your destination's specific risks. Download emergency apps and learn key phrases. Know your hotel's evacuation procedures. Understand that while disasters are unpredictable, your response doesn't have to be. Your next adventure shouldn't be a gamble with your life. The information in this video could be the difference between an incredible vacation story and a tragedy that never should have happened. If this opened your eyes to something you never considered, hit that like button and subscribe for more insights that could change how you see the world. And drop a comment. Where are you traveling next? And what risks are you now aware of? Because in a world of increasing disasters, the prepared tourist isn't just the smart tourist. They're the one who makes it home to tell the story.